He was given a crown he never sought. While his brother stood trembling before the most powerful tyrant on earth, one man was chosen because his brother loved him enough to ask. He became the voice that could calm a nation, steady a prophet, and still, he faced the hardest test of his life over a golden calf he never wanted. This is the story people rush past to get to Musa. But without this man, the story of Musa doesn't survive. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why Allah paired these two brothers together, and why Harun's real test wasn't Pharaoh at all. Before we go further, hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because we're breaking down the lives of the prophets in ways you've probably never heard in the Khutbah. Let's get into it. Who was Harun? Harun was the older brother of Musa, born in Egypt during a time when Bani Israel were enslaved. Pharaoh's decree to kill newborn sons came in cycles. One year the boys were killed. The next year they were spared, so the slave population wouldn't collapse. Harun was born in a spared year, so he grew up safely, while Musa was born in a killing year and had to be thrown into the river as an infant to escape death. This detail matters. It means Harun grew up inside the suffering of his people, watching the oppression firsthand, while Musa was raised in Pharaoh's palace, distant from that pain. Two brothers, two completely different childhoods, about to be joined by one mission, the request that changed everything. Years later, Musa stood at the burning bush and received his call to prophethood. But Musa had a problem. He said his tongue was not fluent, and he feared he would not be able to argue his case before Pharaoh. So Musa asked Allah directly for help, and he didn't ask for an army or a miracle. He asked for his brother. He said, "And appoint for me a minister for my family, Harun, my brother. Increase through my strength and let him share my task." This is one of the most human moments in the Quran. A prophet, chosen by God himself, still asked for support from someone he trusted. Allah granted the request, and Harun was made a prophet too, right there, because his brother loved him enough to ask. Facing Pharaoh together. Now imagine this. Two brothers, walking into the court of the most tyrannical ruler in ancient history, a man who claimed to be a god, who had killed thousands of children just to prevent one boy from growing up. Harun didn't have to go. He could have stayed back, lived quietly, avoided the danger entirely. But he went. He stood beside Musa as they delivered the message, faced magicians, and confronted Pharaoh's arrogance. Harun was the one with the eloquence Musa lacked. When Musa spoke with hesitation, Harun carried the weight of the argument. This wasn't a side character. This was a partnership built by divine design. The moment everyone forgets. Here's where the story gets tense, and it's the part almost nobody talks about. After Bani Israel were freed and crossed the sea, Musa left them for 40 nights to receive guidance on Mount Sinai. He left Harun in charge. Harun was now the leader, alone, responsible for an entire nation that had just witnessed miracles and still doubted everything. And in those 40 days, a man named Samari crafted a golden calf from the jewelry of the people and told them it was their god. Thousands of newly freed slaves, people who had just seen the sea split in half, bowed down to a statue. Harun's hardest test. This is the part that gets buried under Musa's return and his anger. Before Musa came back, Harun warned his people clearly. He told them this calf was a trial, that their true Lord was the most merciful, and that they should follow him. But they refused. They told Harun outright that they would keep worshiping the calf until Musa returned. Harun could have fought them by force, but he chose not to. He feared that if he turned on his own people with violence, he would split the nation into two warring factions before Musa even made it back, tearing Bani Israel apart from within. So he held his ground the only way he safely could, through warning and truth, even while he was ignored and outnumbered. Imagine the weight of that, watching your own people abandon everything you just escaped Egypt for, and choosing patience over a battle that could have destroyed them completely. The confrontation between brothers. When Musa returned and saw the calf, he was furious, more furious than we usually picture prophets being. He grabbed his brother, pulled him by the hair and beard, in front of everyone. Harun's response is one of the most moving moments in the entire Quran. He didn't get defensive. He didn't argue back with anger. He said, "Son of my mother, indeed the people oppressed me and were about to kill me. So do not let the enemies rejoice over me. He explained it had tried to stop them, but was nearly killed for it, and that he feared splitting the nation apart before Musa's return. Musa immediately understood and prayed for forgiveness for both of them. This single exchange shows something profound. Harun's strength wasn't in commanding people by force. It was in his patience, his gentleness, and his refusal to turn a moment of crisis into a fight with his own brother. Why this story matters today. In 2026, with so much division, so many leaders failing under pressure, and so much noise online demanding instant reactions, Harun's story hits differently. He was a leader who warned his people honestly, who didn't force compliance through violence, who stayed loyal to his brother even when blamed unfairly, and who trusted Allah's plan even when he was left to handle an impossible situation alone. He couldn't force his people to change, and he couldn't stop the golden calf by himself. But his character in the aftermath, his humility, his honesty, and his refusal to break his family bond is the real lesson. How Harun's story ends. Harun passed away before Musa, while Bani Israel were still wandering after refusing to enter the Holy Land. He never saw the Promised Land himself. Despite everything he endured, every warning he gave, and every moment he stood beside his brother facing impossible odds, he died having fulfilled his role completely as a prophet, as a brother, and as a leader who chose wisdom over war. So next time you hear the story of Musa and Pharaoh, remember the man standing beside him, the one who was given prophethood because his brother trusted him enough to ask for his help. That's the untold story of Prophet Harun. If this gave you a new perspective, subscribe for more deep dives into the lives of prophets, and let me know in the comments which prophet story you want covered next.